Hey everyone, welcome back to another Gloomhaven Enhanced with Lego Bricks gameplay session. Today I'm doing Burning Mountain. I've got the dungeon constructed here with a little bit of an added flourish in the middle. I built a tiny volcano. Most of these dungeons look quite similar with the way I do the walls, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different here in the middle because I had this big empty space between the board tiles. Adds a little bit extra. I didn't bother with some of the vegetation on top this time. I thought I'd keep the dungeon looking clean, the vegetation on the outside. So this is a little bit more simplified than some of the other dungeons I've done. Still looks pretty good though. I already have all the monsters set up. All the money tokens are in there. All the environment objects are in there. My characters are currently in Gloomhaven after successfully completing the Vibrant Grotto last time. Looking at my character sheets, I have a decent amount of gold on each character, but I don't believe there's anything I want to purchase right now, so I'm not going to buy any equipment. I've already made some adjustments to both my Spellweaver and Brute's ability decks, and I've picked my equipment for this scenario. I've also already picked my battle goals. So I'll quickly go through each character's setup. For the Brute, the ability cards I'm taking into the dungeon are Trample, Provoking Roar, Grab and Go, Spare Dagger, Hook and Chain, Overwhelming Assault, Leaping Cleave, Eye for an Eye, Juggernaut, and Warding Strength. The Brute's equipment is Iron Helmet, Second Skin, Boots of Striding, and Minor Healing Potion. For the Brute's battle goals, I can choose between Sadist and Aggressor. Kill 5 or more monsters during the scenario. Well, there's only 6 monsters total, so I'm not sure if that's going to be achievable. Aggressor gives 2 check marks. Have 1 or more monsters present on the map at the beginning of every round of the scenario. I think that's actually doable, so I'm going to pick Aggressor. For the Spellweaver, the ability cards I've chosen are Flashing Burst, Impaling Eruption, Ride the Wind, Frost Armor, Flame Strike, Fire Orbs, Mana Bolt, and Reviving Ether. And for her equipment, Iron Helmet, Piercing Bow, Cloak of Invisibility, and also a Minor Healing Potion. For her battle goals, I can pick between Pacifist and Streamliner. Both of these seem unlikely. Have 5 or more total cards in your hand and discard at the end of the scenario. That's always difficult. I always find I'm running out of cards toward the end of a scenario. So I'll try Pacifist and see how it goes. While I'm in Gloomhaven, I need to run another city event. I've already drawn the city card from the top of the deck. You are walking across the Silent Bridge, headed toward the Sleeping Lion to get a quick meal, when you see a quattrel standing in front of a small cart laden with plates of food and curious contraptions. Come try the delicacies of the East, the quattrel barks. Food enhanced with science, flavors beyond your wildest imagination. Option A, stop and try the food. Option B, continue on your way to a less adventurous meal. Again, I always feel like these are trying to trick me. But you know what? Let's go with option A. You decide to indulge in the unknown and see what the quattrel is offering. He looks very pleased at your approach and instructs you to inhale a tube of vapors. Then take a bite from a bowl full of tiny golden spheres. As the spheres melt in your mouth, the taste mixes with the aroma of the vapors to create a wonderful experience. You pay what you can, but the quattrel seems solely focused on how much you enjoyed the meal. All start scenario with Bless, lose 3 gold each. And this goes back into the bottom of the deck. Well, that's cool, I guess. I don't like losing the gold. Spellweaver then is down to 19 gold. The Brute is down to 30. But I get to put a Bless card into each of their decks. So a Bless card is a 2 times attack modifier card. And if that Bless card is drawn during a turn, it would get removed from the deck. So it's only good once. Still, it's always good to have an extra beneficial card in your deck. In the last scenario, I got really unlucky by drawing curse cards, like repeatedly, one after another, on both characters. It's like a 5% chance of that happening in each deck. Okay, city business is done. My characters are now going to make their way to Burning Mountain. Along the way, I need to run another road event. I've already drawn the card off the top of the deck. You are walking down the road when the sound of many wings pulls your gaze to the sky. Above you, you see a large flock of red birds flying southward. At that height, you figure a well-aimed arrow could bring one of them down to make a nice meal. Option A, shoot at the birds. Option B, let the birds pass undisturbed. I've already had a nice meal, so I'm not going to press my luck. I'll go with option B. The shot would be difficult, and you'd prefer not to waste the arrow. You simply move on toward your destination. No effect. And this card also gets reintroduced back into the bottom of the deck. Time for the introduction text to Burning Mountain. Goal: sacrifice 1 artifact or escape with all artifacts. Well, that's interesting. Following the Inox Trail, you find the remains of their village, burned and collapsed into a crevice. A dark cloud hangs over the mountain directly behind it. You follow an old stone road, seemingly untouched, as it winds its way up the scorched terrain and ends at a cliff several hundred meters high. You find a pair of great stone doors, warm to the touch and intricately carved into the side of the mountain. Once inside the doors, you see pools of liquid flame illuminating the room beyond in an eerie red glow. Charred corpses of the Savas are scattered everywhere. The earth shakes violently, and a number of demons turn their gaze toward you. Special rules. All doors are locked, and one will open automatically whenever one elite monster is killed in the order of A, B, C, D, E, and finally F. So, the doors are... I've got the markers underneath the doors. A, B, C, D, E, and F. So my characters don't have to worry about opening any doors. They will open automatically. There are 6 elite monsters, and there's only elite monsters in this scenario. So I guess whenever I kill one, I open a door. That seems like it's going to drive my strategy a bit. So my characters have arrived. I can start anywhere on this first row of hexes. In this first room, there's a damage trap, which does damage and a bleed effect. There's an elite earth demon and an elite flame demon. So who's worse? Again, I'm playing on level 1. Wow, the Flame Demon only has a health of 3, but it has Retaliate, a ranged attack, and a shield of 4. Oof, it's going to be hard to get through that shield. I mean, the Earth Demon just has a health of 13, so actually the Flame Demon's probably going to be more difficult to get rid of, so maybe I should attack the Flame Demon first. So I'm going to move these guys over here. Again, the moment I kill something, a door is going to open. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so I'm starting in these 2 hexes. Spellweaver here, Brute here. My intention is to go for the Flame Demon first and get rid of it. The Flame Demon can fly. Earth Demon cannot. Flying doesn't really matter too much. There's not a lot of obstacles in this first room. Start of round 1. Well, originally I was going to have both characters attack the same monster, but now I've got a different strategy because I'm pretty sure, unless I get incredibly unlucky with my card draw here, that my Spellweaver should be able to get rid of this Flame Demon in one shot. So my Spellweaver does go first. Now, immediately, I'm going to use my Piercing Bow. During your ranged attack, ignore all shield values for the entire attack action. That means I can ignore that shield of 4 on the Flame Demon. I'm using the upper part of Flashing Burst for an attack of 3 and range of 3. 1, 2, 3. That's exactly 3 away from me. So I can ignore the shield. Flame Demon has a health of 3. It has Retaliate, so I'm going to take damage by attacking. Attack of 3 plus 2. Well, that is going to be about as good as it can get. So I hit for a attack of 5. This puts the light element into the element table. So an attack of 5, I can ignore the shield with my Piercing Bow. It has a health of 3. I killed the Flame Demon. Now the Flame Demon had a Retaliate of 2, so I will take 2 damage because of that. And Piercing Bow is now consumed. And I killed the monster, so I'm going to put a marker on my battle goal. I killed 1 monster. Now I still got the bottom part of Flame Strike that I can use. Can't use the attack, so I'm just going to use the base movement of 2. But now where do I want to go? I think I'll move toward the Earth Demon then. 1, 2, and that goes my discard. Alright, Brute is next. I'm using the bottom part of Hook and Chain to move 4. And if the movement is in a straight line, it can perform an attack. So I'm going to move towards the Earth Demon. I'm going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. That was a straight line. So then I can now attack with an attack of 3. So attacking the Earth Demon plus 1. I hit the Earth Demon for 4. This is a suspiciously good start. That's Earth Demon number 3. So 1, 2. That card goes my discard. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Warding Strength for an attack of 3 with a push of 2. Well, this is going to be really good. So I'm going to again attack the Earth Demon for 3, plus 1 again. I hit him for another 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Take 1 away, put a 5 token there, so 8 damage on the Earth Demon. And I get a push. So the push can be any tile that makes the Earth Demon further away from me. So if I push him into the trap, that is 1 tile further away from me. Now the trap is, I believe, a 3 damage trap. So that adds another 3 damage to the Earth Demon. So 10 damage on the Earth Demon. And it puts a wound effect on the Earth Demon. Now wound is at the start of its turn. It takes 1 damage. Now, wound effects can only be removed with a heal, but if you heal, you at least get rid of the wound effect and you get to heal for whatever value was on your ability. Now, that's the end of the Brute's turn. Now, I probably should have done this at the end of the Spellweaver's turn, but I killed an elite monster, so that means door A gets opened. So door A is opened, which means that reveals this room. A lot going on in this room. There are 4 additional damage traps and wound traps, and 1 elite stone golem. So I need to draw a card for the stone golem. The reason why I should have done this after the Spellweaver's turn is if the stone golem had an initiative less than what the brute had, it would have gone before the brute. Luckily, it's initiative 51. My brute's initiative, double check here, was 32. So the brute still would have gone first, so it didn't really affect anything. But now when I'm considering the monsters, the Flame Demon's gone, so I'm going to get rid of this card then. Well, it's got a shuffle symbol, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that right away. Flame Demon didn't even get a turn. It's fine by me. So next is the Stone Golem. The Stone Golem I haven't seen before. It also has a shield, yay, and a health of 11. Wow. Guess that's the reason why there's only 6 monsters here. They're just brutally shielded. It has a high attack too, 4 attack. So it has, I gotta go back here. I gotta get rid of this trap. That trap is now gone. So the Stone Golem can move, which means it has a movement of 3. Cannot move through traps, so it's just gonna move closer to the brute. 1, 2, 3, right into the doorway. -1 to attack, but its attack is a melee attack and it's not close enough to attack anything. So that's the end of its turn. Earth Demon is next. It has -1 to movement. It has a base movement of 2, so that means you can move 1, and then -1 to attack. Well, it can move 1. Now it's got 2 equal hexes to get close to the brute. So I'm going to roll my 4-sided die and say 1 to 2 it moves there, 3 to 4 it moves there. 1. So we'll move him there. Now he can attack the brute, but -1 to attack, so his base attack is 3. -1 hits the brute for 2. And that is the end of round 1. Light element goes to waning. That's inactive. There's a shuffle symbol on the stone golem. All in all, not a bad start. Start of round 2. All right, check initiative. We got 18 for the brute, 20 for the spellweaver, 28 for the golem, 40 for the earth demon. So my brute goes first. Well, I have a bit of a strategy here. I'm going to use the bottom part of Overwhelming Assault for a move of 3 and a push of 2. So I'm going to move 1, 2 to the stone golem, and I'm going to push the stone golem into this trap. The good thing about traps is actually any damage that isn't attack damage can ignore armor. So by pushing the stone golem into that trap, it immediately just takes 3 damage. I don't have to worry about the armor. So stone golem number 3 takes 3 damage. And it also gets a wound effect applied. And again, the wound damage will ignore the shield. So I can remove the trap. And now that card goes in my discard. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Eye for an Eye for a retaliate of 2, just in case I get attacked. This applies for this round only, and that's the end of my turn. Spellweaver's next. I'm going to use the upper part of Frost Armor for an attack of 2, range of 3. 1, 2, 3. Earth Demon's exactly 3 away. And if I consume an element, I gain an extra attack, so I'm going to consume the light element, get an experience point for doing that. Now my attack is 3, so attacking the Earth Demon plus 0. But you know what? Earth Demon has a health of 13, had 10 damage already, so 3 damage will kill the Earth Demon. Earth Demon is now gone. So the Spellweaver's killed 2 monsters so far. So much for the Pacifist. And that card goes in my discard. Now I can use the bottom part of Fire Orbs just for the movement of 3. And I think I'm just going to move toward the brute. Right onto that money token. And that goes in my discard. Stone Golem is next. Now it's the start of its turn, so that bleed effect will come into play. So it takes 1 damage from the bleed effect. Now up to 4 damage. It has movement of plus 1. So it can move 3. The brute's only 1 away, and then it can attack. So it's going to move 1 to get closer to the brute. Attack the brute with an attack of 4. Yikes. Plus 0. Hits the brute for 4. It's a big hit. But the brute has a retaliate of 2. And again, the retaliate can ignore the shield. So the retaliate adds 2 damage to the 4, so it's up to 6. I'm going to get my 5 token out, take 3 of these away. So the stone golem is now up to 6 damage, and I get an experience point for retaliating. And on the stone golem's ability card, it says stone golem suffers 1 damage. So that's an additional damage to the stone golem. So now it's up to 7. Oh, I forgot. By killing the earth demon, that opens this door. Now in this room, there's another stone golem, which is going to use the same ability card as the other one. So again, by opening this later than I should have, it didn't affect the sequence of anything. So this stone golem is just going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. But it also takes just 1 damage. So this is stone golem number 1. Also in this room is just a bunch of money tokens. And door F is in this room. That's the end of the round. So end of round 2 cleanup. Earth demon has a shuffle symbol. Even though the earth demon is no longer there. Shuffle the deck anyway. Stone golem that goes to inactive. My eye for an eye is now no longer applicable. That goes my discard. How are we doing for cards? Spellweaver still has 4 cards. Brute has, so I think I can go one more round before I need to take a rest. Start of round 3. Oh, I forgot at the end of round 2, my Spellweaver is sitting on a coin, so I get this coin. My Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the upper part of Impaling Eruption for an attack of 3, range of 4. Additionally, target all enemies on the path to the primary target. Well, that's not going to apply. I'll lose the card if I use this, but I want the attack of 3, so at least I know I can do at least 1 damage. So, attack of 3 plus 0. So I do 1 damage to the stone golem because it has a shield of 2. That's stone golem number 3. So up to 8 damage. And I lose this card. Then I'll use the bottom part of Mana Bolt to just heal myself. I was going to heal the brute, but I didn't realize the range is 1. The brute is 2 tiles away. So I will heal myself for 3, although I only have 2 damage, so I'll heal myself for 2. Brute is next. Alright, well, we got here... I can't kill the stone golem, I think, unless I get really lucky. I'll use the bottom part of Spare Dagger first. Attack of 2, plus 0, so not enough to get through the shield of 2. So no damage. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Provoking Roar for an additional attack of 2. Plus 2. Well, that's good. So get through the shield of 2, so I do 2 damage. And that'll take it up to 10. So I'm going to take all these off. So it does 10 damage. I put a disarm on it, which actually won't really matter here. But I'll put it on there anyway. It's still my turn though. I'm going to go ahead and use my minor healing potion to heal myself for 3. Why not? I'm going to have to use it eventually anyway. That card is done. Stone Golem's turn. Now the Stone Golems will act in the order of their standees. So actually Stone Golem number 1, which is over here, goes first. It has an attack. It's a ranged attack, but it doesn't move. So it's going to stay where it is. It can't attack anything because nothing's within range. And it just suffers 2 damage. That is good. So Stone Golem number 3... at the start of its turn, it takes wound damage, and the wound damage is 1. It only has 1 health left. So it basically just bled itself to death. So Stone Golem is gone. I can take all of these tokens off. It's gone. That means I have to open door C, which is this one here. Now in this room is another elite earth demon and an elite flame demon. The Savas gathered in this back chamber as their last stand. A number of them lie around the area, their bodies mangled and roasted. A throne occupies the room's center, and atop it sits the body of a regal Savas, holding a hammer and a helmet. Scorched into the wall behind him are the words, "Folly, the beast awakes. Impossible to control the mountain's power. Return them and it shall sleep again." Some additional special rules. Once the treasure tile is looted, the character holding the items from it may end their turn at 9, which is right in the middle of the room here, and remove one of the items from the game to complete the scenario. In this case, read conclusion A. Alternatively, after looting the chest, all characters may return to an entrance hex before becoming exhausted. In this case, read conclusion B. If the scenario is lost, reset the treasure tile. Which one I pick, I guess, depends on how good the items are in the treasure chest. Now, because I opened that door and this room was revealed, so we got the treasure in the middle with all of its gold around it. There's another money token in the corners. Otherwise, not really much going on in here. The Earth Demon and the Flame Demon get to take their turn. Flame Demon is first. Well, it only has an attack, and nobody's remotely near it. Its attack is ranged, though. Range of 4. Wow. Still, nobody's within range. So that's the end of its turn. Earth Demon now. It can move, and its base movement is 2. So it'll just move toward the Brute. Doesn't really matter which ones I go into there, so I'll put them there. It has a melee attack, but nobody's within range. So that's the end of its turn. So that's the end of round number 3. That goes to inactive. That goes to inactive. So all the monsters have been revealed. Now, I have a couple strategies I can do here. Because of these 2 traps, the Earth Demon cannot go through the traps. It won't intentionally go through a trap unless I push or pull it. The Flame Demon, however, can. So what that means is Earth Demon's trapped in that room until that trap is revealed. So what I think I might do is I might backtrack around, get rid of this stone golem until that door is opened, and then come through it the back way here. Otherwise, I'll have to spring one of those traps. Unless I have a jump ability, I can go over the traps. I'll think about it. But right now, my cleanup is done. I want my Spellweaver to do a long rest, actually. I want to pick which card to lose. Well, no, if I do a short rest, I'll still get the action on my turn. No, I want to do a long rest. The Brute, I still have 4 cards, but I could use some health. Start of round 4. Both of my characters are going to take a long rest. So their initiatives are 99, and I'll get to choose which of my cards to lose. So for the monsters, the Stone Golem goes first, +1 to movement, so it can move 3. Well, the closest path to the Spellweaver would be 1, 2, 3. -1 to attack, but nobody's close enough to attack. Flame Demon is next. -1 to movement, base movement of 3. You know what, I'm just looking now. The Retaliate on the Flame Demon had a range of 2. I think in my initial attack at the beginning of the game, I was 3 tiles away. So I really shouldn't have taken any damage from that Retaliate. Oh well. So it can move 2. Attack's not going to matter here because nobody's going to be within range. So it's just going to move this way. 1, 2. Earth Demon is next. It can move 3, but it cannot move through those traps intentionally. So it'll just move 2 to get right into the door here. That's as far as it's going to go. There's no other valid path. Oh, now I'm remembering. Let me double check that. Monsters without the flying trait consider negative hexes, traps or hazardous terrain, to be obstacles when determining focus and movement unless movement through one of these hexes is the only way they can focus on a target. In this case, they will use the path moving through the smallest number of negative hexes possible to find a focus and suffer any consequences. Aha! So it will move into the trap because that's the only way to get to the Brute. It was there. I moved 2. It has a movement of 3. So it will move into one of these traps. Now that trap will do immediately 3 damage to it. And it suffers wound. Now it has +0 to attack. But it's a melee attack, nobody's nearby. So now I can get rid of that trap. Okay, well that changes my strategy a bit. I probably shouldn't have pressed it then. Well, that's the end of round 4, except for my characters. So both of my characters were taking a long rest. For the Brute, so I can choose to lose one of these cards. I'm going to lose eye for an eye. I get the rest back in my hand. And I get 2 health. For the Spellweaver, I don't need to gain any health. I can choose which of these cards to lose. I'm going to lose Mana Bolt. That's got a shuffle symbol. Okay. For the first time in a while playing these scenarios, I don't feel overwhelmed. I feel like I've got a good handle on things here. Earth Demon doesn't have a shield. Probably be the easiest one to get rid of next. So I should focus my attention on the Earth Demon. Now, going forward now, opening the doors doesn't really do anything other than there's 3 doors left and 3 elite monsters. So if I want to open all 3 doors, I have to kill all 3. But The goal is just to loot and then get to the middle of the room or get out. So I don't need to kill all 3. I really only need to kill 2. That'll open this door and that door. Oh, I left a card in there. Whoops. Okay, we're ready to go. Start of round 5. My Spellweaver goes first. I'm going to use the bottom part of Flashing Burst for a move of 4. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, right to there. Now the upper part of Frost Armor, attack of 2, range of 3. Earth Demon's 3 hexes away. There's no element to consume, so this is just an attack of 2. +1. So I hit the Earth Demon for 3. It has 3 damage already, so it's now up to 6 damage. Next is the Flame Demon. Okay, there's no fire to consume, so that first part of its ability card I don't have to worry about. +1 to movement. It can move 3. Attack -2. Wound. Target 2. Well, let's do the move first. It can move 3. 1, 2, 3. Gets it to there. Now, attack of -2. It's ranged attack. Oh, so it's attack of 2 with -2, so 0 damage to attack. So it would just apply the wound. The attack range is 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so Spellweaver's not within range. That's good. That's the end of the Flame Demon's turn. Brute is next. I'm going to be a bit crafty here. I'm going to use the bottom part of Leaping Cleave for a move of 3 with a jump, although I don't really need that, but I'm going to use it anyway. So I'm going to go 1, 2 to there, actually. Then the upper part of Hook and Chain, attack of 3, range of 3 with a pull of 2. So attack of 3 +1. So hit the Earth Demon for 4. That will actually put it up to 10 damage. Oh, this is perfect. So it's up to 10 damage. Then I got the pull ability. I can pull it 2, and I'm going to pull it 1, 2 into this trap. And that trap is a 3 damage trap. It only has 3 health left. So that eliminates the Earth Demon. Sweet. And that opens door D. No additional monsters to reveal, it just opens the door. Oh, I forgot, the air element goes into the element table. Stone Golem is next. +1 to movement, base movement of 2. Is this going to move 2? Not close enough to attack anybody. End of round 5, cleanup. Air goes to waning. That goes to inactive. There's a shuffle symbol on the Flame Demon. So there's no more Earth Demons in the game anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the tray for the Earth Demon. Bring these down a little bit closer. That goes to inactive. Start of round 6. My Brute goes first. I'm using the bottom part of Provoking Roar for the base movement of 2, but I'm going to use my Boots of Striding to get an additional 2 movement. So that gives me a movement of 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 right into the door here. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Overwhelming Assault for an attack of 6. Because the Flame Demon has a shield of 4. So, hope this is a good card. Attack 6 +3. So I hit it for 9. Well, with the shield and the health, it has a total of 7. So I just obliterated the Flame Demon in one shot. So it's gone. Now, the Flame Demon did have a Retaliate. I'm not sure if the Retaliate really applies if you kill the monster on the first blow, but I'm going to say that it does. So I get hit for 2 with that Retaliate. I get 2 experience points for using this card, but I also lose this card. The other one goes in my discard. Now that's going to open door E. So 1 door left and 1 monster left. So the Flame Demon is now out of the game, so I'm going to remove this. Next is the Spellweaver. I'm going to use the bottom part of Fire Orbs to move 3. And then the upper part of Reviving Ether to recover all of my lost cards. So I can recover these. I'll lose this card in the process, and that puts the dark element into the element table. Stone Golem is next. Well, it doesn't have a move, it just attacks, but a ranged attack. Nobody's within range. And suffers 2 damage. I love those cards. It already had 3 damage, so it's now going to be up to 5. And that is the end of round 6. No shuffle symbols anywhere. Air goes to inert. Dark goes to waning. We're doing okay here. The brute killed another enemy. Start around 7. My Spellweaver goes first. Well, there's not a whole lot to do here. So I'm going to use the bottom part to ride the wind, just for the base movement of 2. I'm going to move through my brute and land onto that money token. And then the upper part of Flame Strike, I'm just not going to use. So that's a very quick turn. Next is the brute. I'm going to use the bottom part of Trample, really just for the movement of 4. So move of 4 with a jump. I go 1, 2, 3. That gets me right into that treasure. And then I'm going to use the upper part of Grab and Go to loot with a range of 1. So I can loot everything around that treasure. So I'm going to go ahead and loot everything here first. That's a lot of money. That's awesome. Now it's the end of my turn, so I can also loot the treasure chest. What do we get with that treasure? That is treasure number 62. So I gain Helm of the Mountain and Mountain Hammer. Helm of the Mountain. When attacked, if the earth element is strong, immobilize the attacker. Mountain Hammer. Summon Warrior Spirit. Okay, well, for now, I hang on to those items until I can get into the middle of the room. Stone Golem is next. -1 to movement, base movement of 2, so it's just going to move 1. And then not close enough to attack anybody. End of round 7 cleanup. Dark goes to inert. Shuffle symbol on the Stone Golem. Well, I think I'm going to just go into the middle of the room and get rid of one of these things. Because honestly, the other item, Helm of the Mountain, is not that appealing to me. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I got to get to the middle of the room first. Spellweaver only has 2 cards, so I should do a short rest on the Spellweaver. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I'm going to roll a 6-sided die and lose one of these cards. 4, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be losing Frost Armor. That's too bad. That would have been helpful. Gain everything else back. Brute, I have 3 cards. I don't have any movement. I should do a rest on the brute, but I'm going to do a long rest on the brute. Start of round 8. I just realized my Spellweaver's sitting on a coin. I should get that coin. Now the brute, I'm going to declare a long rest, mostly because I don't have any good movement cards left, and I want to be able to recover some of my movement cards. So that means his initiative is 99. I'll also get to regain some health, and that means the Stone Golem goes first. But the Stone Golem just retaliates. So yay, it doesn't move, doesn't attack, just retaliates. It just sits there. That's fine by me. Spellweaver then is next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Fire Orbs to move 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the upper part of Ride the Wind to loot this money token. Brute's turn then. I can recover 2 health, and I can choose to lose one of these cards. So now I just want movement. How many tiles away am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oof, I'm a good 8 tiles away. I'm going to lose Leaping Cleave. Get the rest of these back. Okay, end of round 8 cleanup. That goes to inactive. No shuffle symbols. Start of round 9. Oh, by resting the brute with a long rest, I also recover my Boots of Striding. That was the whole point of doing that. Stone Golem goes first. Gets +1 to movement, so move of 3. 1, 2, 3. It's getting closer. Attack of 4, but it's not close enough to attack, and then suffers 1 damage. Brute is next. I'm going to use the bottom part of Grab and Go, and I'm going to use the Boots of Striding again to get additional 2 movement, so I can move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to use the upper part of Juggernaut for a movement of 2. 1, 2, and that gets me into the middle of the room here. That's the end of that card. So I'm in the middle of the room. I am going to choose to throw Helm of the Mountain into the volcano. I'll put that there just to remind me. That's the end of his turn. I'm going to go ahead and take the Spellweaver's turn first before I end the round. So Spellweaver, I'm going to use the upper part of Impaling Eruption to attack the Stone Golem for 3. +0. Well, I hit it for 3. Had a shield of 2, so I only hit it for 1. And then the bottom part of Flame Strike could move 2. Well, I do get 1 experience point for targeting that enemy, so I lose that card. Could move 2, I don't need to, stay where I am. Because by throwing that item into the volcano, it ends the scenario. So I get to read conclusion text A. You cast the artifact into the growing pool of liquid flame around you. It sputters and greedily engulfs the item. The rumbling and shaking, constant up until this point, begins to dissipate. The golems seize their movement, and the demons seem to have vanished. The cloud of soot still hangs in the sky as you trek back home, but the mountain seems to sleep, for now. And we get 1 reputation. Sweet! 9 rounds. That's actually probably one of the quicker scenarios that I've done. Do some cleanup here. Get things out of the way. Okay, time to total up some stuff. So on the party sheet, they're back in Gloomhaven. And get rid of Burning Mountain. They get 1 reputation, so they're up to 6 reputation now. Let's add up the brute here. Well, I get a new item, Mountain Hammer. I'm assuming I get to keep this. This is a 2-handed item, so I can actually add it to my active equipment without removing another piece of equipment. So this Mountain Hammer will summon a warrior spirit. Could be useful. Now, Aggressor, my battle goal. 1 or more monsters present on the map at the beginning of every round of the scenario. Well, I did. Every single round there was a monster, so I get 2 check marks. That's awesome. Now also, I have to remember my personal quest is called the Thin Places, which I've kind of forgotten about until now. Complete 6 side scenarios, scenario number greater than 51. Well, this is scenario number 82. So I have completed 1. So I'm going to mark on my sheet here the actual scenario number. Experience. Put my health back on here. I got 3 experience plus the bonus 6 for completing the scenario, so that's 9. That puts me up to 127. Still not enough to level. Gold, well, I got off like a bandit here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tokens. The conversion rate for the gold is 2, so that's 12 gold. Add that to the 30, so I'm now up to 42 gold. It's pretty good. For the Spellweaver, I also achieved my battle goal, Pacifist. Kill 3 or fewer monsters during the scenario. I only killed 2, so I get a check mark. And that gives me 3 check marks, and now I get another perk. I'm going to add up my experience in gold first, and then we'll pick the perk. Only got 2 experience plus a bonus of 6. That gives me 8, so I'm now up to 112. For gold, I got 3 money tokens, conversion of 2, so that's 6. I'm up to 25 gold. Now for the perk, what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to add +0 and stun card. You know what? I think there's a defect here because I can't find a card that says +0 and stun. There's a stun card here. That might have to be it because, yeah, there's no other ability on here that says +0 and stun. It just says stun. I think this card, which has all these characters on it, which are probably Chinese characters, I think this was a misprint. This was probably supposed to be the +0 and stun card. So I used Google Translate on the card. It says Dark Paradise US version mini card number 318 front, which tells me nothing. Dark Paradise, is that supposed to be what Gloomhaven is? So I'm going to consider this card that's a stun card to be my +0 and stun because I can't find a card that actually says +0 and stun. That gets added to my deck. Well, I've got to take the blessed cards out of my deck here. I went a whole game without drawing a null card. Isn't that great? So blessed cards weren't used. Right, that's everybody. So this Helm of the Mountain card actually gets removed from the game. The only thing left to do now is to pick the next location to go to. By completing this scenario, it didn't unlock any new locations, so we just have the existing ones from last time. I'm going to move this out of the way. Get these out of the way. So Burning Mountain is now done. I'll show the world map on screen, but since there weren't any new locations added, I don't need to bring it over onto the table here. I can go off my checklist here. So the locations we have left to do are Temple of the Seer, Forgotten Crypt, Necromancer's Sanctum, Infernal Throne, Temple of the Elements, and Magma Pit. So there's 6 available to go to. So I'm going to roll a 6-sided die, figure out where we're going to go next. 1. Temple of the Seer. Mark that on the party sheet. No requirements. Looks like an interesting scenario. Okay, So next time we're going to go to Temple of the Seer. Well, that's it for this gameplay session. A successful completion of the Burning Mountain scenario. This one was kind of fun. It was nice to play a scenario where I wasn't internally panicked all the time, like I was going to be overwhelmed. The monsters were tough, but they were spaced out enough that it was manageable, and some of the abilities for the monsters were very negative for them, which worked to my favor. And having the scenario be get rid of an item was something a bit different too, rather than just kill all the monsters. So I like that they're building in some different scenario effects or scenario goals, rather than just kill everything and loot everything. Be interesting to see what they have going forward. Because we've completed so far, take a look here, I've completed 10 scenarios out of a possible 95. There's a lot of game left to play. I'm pretty sure that one or two of my characters will be retired at some point. Once their personal quests are done, they retire. I can always play the same character type again if I wanted to, and they would retain all of the enhancements and everything that were on the ability cards. But I think the whole purpose is to play different characters. There are a lot of characters in the game. I think there's 17 characters total, so it'd be kind of nice to play some of the different characters and see what their abilities are like. Just change the way the game is played a bit. Well, thank you so much for watching this successful completion of the Burning Mountain scenario. In a couple weeks' time, we'll tackle the Temple of the Seer. I'll see you next time.